doesn't need a microphone.
Nice.
Is this on?
Hey, Jay, thanks, guys. I looked down here. These guys are wearing the mustache and the glass thing. Huh? Look at them. And so, about 5 years ago, I spoke to all the coaches, amateur and professional coaches in Italy, if you can imagine. Room of 300 people. These are Italians, right? The guy gets through introducing me, and they all stand up, and they have the nose that... And I say, who are you guys kidding? You don't need the nose? You know what I mean? Okay, what do we got? I don't know if we're live, Matt. You got it, bro.
I think we're always live. I was going to introduce Bobby Valentine, but that's already been done. So I'm Matt Cerrone. I'm the creator and lead writer of MetsBlog.com.
Yeah.
I'm thankful to have had the opportunity to talk with you a few times, so I kind of know how to navigate this a little bit. But I was going to actually ask you about the mask and the whole bit, but you just take us through that moment, because I know a lot of people love that story, and like
we're starting with that.
Yeah, why not?
That's usually the climax, right?
Why not? Let's just get right to it, right? You're in the dugout. You get thrown out. How does that come to pass? What's the thinking there?
Okay, so Met fans will probably remember, but I'll take you through it for whatever the heck it's worth.
It's worth a lot, trust me.
We were doing pretty well during this year, and we hit a little skid. We lost 5 games in a row going into the Yankees series. And unbeknownst to me, after the second game of the Yankees series, which made it now 7 games in a row. That's when we had the interleague series thing going on, and it was a really big thing. And so we weren't allowed to dress at Yankee Stadium, and they weren't allowed to dress at Shea Stadium. So they had these ridiculous police escorts. We would dress at Shea, and they'd have motorcades, and they'd stop all the traffic on the Willis Avenue Bridge or whatever the heck we were going at the time. Which way did we go? I'm trying to think of which way we went. We must have gone over to Triborough, right? Around the Triborough and down to Major Deegan, right? And everybody are backed up. Miles getting on the highway, and here we come with our 3 little buses, and 17 motorcycle cops, and we'd go into the stadium. So it was bigger than life. And after we lost that second game, which made it, I believe, 7 games in a row, we came back to Shea Stadium. The guys showered and dressed, and we had a Sunday night game coming up the next day, and 3 of my coaches got fired, unbeknownst to me. And it was probably the lousiest day of my life, even the 22 times that I got fired. This happened to be one of the low parts of my life. I mean, I came out of the shower after doing the press conference and doing the whole 9 yards. I'm always the last one to leave, and I come out of my shower and I go into my little office at Shea Stadium, and there are 3 of my coaches sitting in their uniforms. And I said, guys, let's go. It's not the end of the world. Come on, we'll get them tomorrow. And Bobby Apodaca said, no, we won't get them tomorrow. I said, yeah, we will. He says, well, not with us. I said, what are you talking about? He says, we just got fired. So Tom Robson, Bobby Apodaca, and Randy Neiman all were let go. And after staying up all night with them, killing a couple, whatever it is we were trying to drink that night to make us forget about the sorrow, I had to go out to Yankee Stadium the next day. This is about the mustache and the glasses, right? Okay, stay with me. We're getting there. We're getting there. So I go out to Yankee Stadium, and with the background of the Yankees sitting up on the Yankees stage, I had to do a pregame press conference with Steve and me and the media. And some of the media, whatever. The Donald's telling you all about the media, isn't he? Yeah. There was one guy at the end of the press conference, where I didn't do much of the talking at all, and Steve gave all the reasons why. And then as I was leaving, one of the guys up front said, "Why the hell didn't you go with him?" And I said, well, I thought about that all night, and by the time the sun was coming up, the three guys who are my guys said they wanted me to stay and finish the job and turn this thing around. And he said, well, how long will it take you to turn it around? And I said, well, how many games is it until September 1st? And he said, 55. And I said, we'll go 40 and 15. Now, back in that day, in 2000, if I told a story, people would say, well, that's pretty good bullshit, but they'd try to remember and go and find a writer who might have been at the press conference, right? But now you could Google this stuff, and you can find out that I said at that press conference we'd go 40 and 15. Well, that night, it might have been, I think it was Dave Malicki, shut out the Yankees. We won that game. No? What happened? Leiter against Clemens, exactly. Leiter, that's right. Malicki won the first one we ever won. That's right. Leiter against Clemens. We won that game. And then we won on Monday. Or maybe it was two. Well, anyway.
Someone get Baseball Reference.
We had a couple game winning streaks, so it might have been a Monday off, and then we won Tuesday. And then we were playing the Blue Jays. I remember David Wells' pitch started that game. The game was like tied, going into the ninth or going into the eighth. And Otis Nixon was on first base, I guess. I called the pitch out. Mike got the pitch out. He threw the guy out at second base. The hitter was, I want to say Doug Drabeck, but that was the pitcher. Who was the little infielder with a name like Drabeck? Graybeck. He came from he was with the White Sox. Then he went to Toronto. Was it Graybeck? Greg Graybeck. Greg Graybeck. I appreciate you doing that. Yes, Greg Graybeck. Well, he throws his bat at the pitch out. And Mike catches the ball and throws the guy out at second base. And I think we're the good guys. It turned out we're the bad guys because the umpire was throwing his arms up in the air. And he said, the guy's safe at second base because Mike stepped out of the catcher's box too soon. Imagine back at shortstop in New York when they had that guy over there, number 2, playing. Imagine going in the ninth inning for him. Imagine playing on the Sunday day games for him. Who could do that? Todd Pratt did that here. He did it extremely well. He's a hell of a guy.
Listen, I think that's all the time we got, Bobby. Thank you so much. More? You got something?
I had one little thing. You know what I want to do, because I mentioned West Virginia, I want to give you a quick little thing. Because you're all baseball fans and this is not Met related, but it's really cool. I was with Phil Niekro. We all remember Phil Niekro. He's a knuckleball player. All right, knuckleball pitcher, Hall of Famer, 300 wins, 70 plus. I was with him a few nights ago where he got an honor by Major League Baseball for doing good things off the field, right? And so, and he does a lot of good things. So he got up, standing at the podium, and someone said, Phil, can you tell us the greatest day of your life? Right, no hitter, playoffs, the whole 9 yards, right? 300 wins. He said, oh, that's easy. It was the day that I signed. And they said, that's good. And he said, can I tell you the story? He said, of course. He said, I was 17 years old. He was in a little town in West Virginia where they had heard about guys who had an opportunity to get out of the coal mines and play baseball. And his dad told him when he was young that he's not going to go to the coal mines. Every day his dad came home, he was full of soot. Couldn't see the fingernails on his hands. Couldn't see his face other than the whites of his eyes. But every day that he came home, his dad would clean himself off enough to play catch with him. in the backyard. And one day they came around in the pickup truck and they were announcing that the Milwaukee Braves were having a tryout of baseball 3 hours away. And the guys hopped in the back of the pickup truck who could play baseball, and they went for 3 hours. And he played well enough that a scout at the end of the workout said, I want to come to your house and talk to your parents about being a member of the Milwaukee Braves. And he gave him the scout's address. He went home. He told his mom and dad the scout was going to come the next day. And the scout came the next day, and his father had a white shirt on that he had never seen before. It was clean, and his hands were clean. And when the scout sat down, his dad took his coffee and put a little scotch into it and took a sip and offered the same to the scout, who said no thank you. And as the conversation started to conclude, the scout said to Mr. Negro, Mr. Negro, we really like the way your son plays baseball, and we'd like to have him a member of the Milwaukee Braves. How does $500 sound to you? And his father looked at him and said, well, by golly, that'll be a lot of money for me to raise, but I'm going to do it for my boy. Is that cool or not? Huh? True story. Thank